Well, it's a story that is extremely disturbing. There's a new murder capital of the United States. New Orleans now leads the nation in murders per capita, more than St. Louis, more than Baltimore, the two cities that top the list in 2021. There have been more than 200 homicides so far this year in the Big Easy. That's up more than 140% since 2019. Now, according to one international advocacy group, if the violence continues, New Orleans would rank 9th in the world in murders among cities that are not at war. Let's bring in Michael Glasser, president of the Police Association of New Orleans, to weigh in. First, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. What happened to New Orleans to give it this new title, Murder Capital of America?
Well, of course, New Orleans is suffering like every major city in America with a policing staffing shortage, and a lot of that is a natural trend. But locally as well, it's some of the practices and strategies and policies we have been compelled to work under, including our consent decree, which we're now 10 years into a 6-year consent decree. And unfortunately, between the policies required by the consent decree and a lack of staffing and the manner in which we operate, this is the result.
Tell me, you said the consent decree?
Yes, New Orleans has been under a federal consent decree since 2014. And at this point in time, actually it was in 2013 when it first started. So we're in our 10th year in what was supposed to be a 6-year consent decree. The consent decree compelled us to repair some things that actually needed repair, but unfortunately it was also very restrictive and very labor intensive. And when you're labor intensive and you have no labor, that's a problem. And our staffing has plummeted and continues to plummet as we speak. We're losing one officer every 45 hours since the first of the year. And we can't sustain that kind of staffing shortage and still provide the kind of public safety we need to.
So a consent decree, for those watching at home, it's some type of a settlement between the guilty party in a criminal case or liability, and it's between the plaintiff and the defendant, correct?
That's correct. The federal government and the city of New Orleans made an agreement to repair and reestablish some certain rules and regulations regarding constitutional policing, which we needed at that time, and we have done that. But unfortunately, the consent decree continues, and it's very restrictive in a lot of ways. It does not really address crime itself. It addresses how we make contact with the public, but it's also very labor intensive. And like I said, when you don't have labor and it's labor intensive, that means that we spend an awful lot of time doing the same things we spent very little time doing before. And now that we're short, we're a 1,600 officer department operating with 940 officers.
Wow. Yeah, and a lot of paperwork versus people being out on the streets is what it sounds like.
That's correct.
There are reports that claim that there was a 100% increase in shootings this year compared to 2019. Homicides up 46% from this same time last year. So with all that officers have to deal with and the fact that there's a shortage, what can be done to address this rise in crime?
Well, actually, that's a good question because we are doing something about it. The City Council is considering a financial package that will provide a significant incentive for the retention of the officers we do have, plus recruitment of new officers. If that passes, that will be a big help. There are also some consultants that have come in from NYPD and have mirrored a lot of the things that we have as a police organization have requested that the administration do in terms of policy changes, reorganization of the department, and policing strategies. And if those are implemented as well, I think you're going to see it turn around very, very soon.
Okay, real quick, I want to just ask you, there's an $80 million plan to recruit those new officers, but are there enough people applying to the academy to fill the spots, even if you do have the finances?
Well, there aren't now, but I think there will be. I think the incentive package that they're providing, if it passes, will be adequate to attract the attention of new recruits. And if we implement the changes in policing that we need to and that have been suggested, I think that will make a big turnaround. I think you'll see a different department in 6 months if we do those things.
All right, President of the Police Association of New Orleans, Michael Glasser, thank you. And we wish you and all of the officers, as well as that community, safety and peace of mind.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.